Welcome to Quick Movie Recaps. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and subscribe. The movie begins with a girl named Aqilla who is dating her friend Arfan, an orphan art student relaying on scholarship. One night, Aqilla's mother confronts her for coming home late and hanging out with Arfan instead of focusing on her studies. Aqilla's mother tells her that she must leave Arfan as he is poor and has no future as an artist. She warns Aqilla that if she wants to live comfortably in her mother's house, then she must forget Arfan. When Aqilla retaliates by saying that money is not everything and her mother is obsessed with wealth, her mother slaps her. Aqilla decides to leave her mother's house for the sake of her love and elopes with Arfan. Soon Aqilla and Arfan get married. Aqilla's mother gets furious when she gets to know about Aqilla and Arfan's wedding. Soon, Aqilla moves into a small one-room apartment with Arfan. They begin their new life together as husband and wife. Arfan gets a job to support his new family. When he returns home, Aqilla tells him that she will soon find a job so that Arfan can continue his studies instead of working all the time, and they continue to flirt with each other. Soon, Aqilla finds out that she is expecting her first child. When Arfan is on the way home, he stops to buy some food for Aqilla. Aqilla waits to share the good news with him. Just then, Arfan meets an accident near his house, and Aqilla runs towards him. Aqilla asks everyone to call the ambulance while crying hysterically. As time passes, it gets difficult for Aqilla to get over her loss. One day, she manages to go back to her mother's house when her condition worsens. She is taken to hospital, where she gives birth to a baby boy. Aqilla's mother gives her grandson to Arif, her servant's son who works for her. Arif and his wife, Yumna, are childless, so they happily adopt the baby. She tells them to leave the city to never return and raise the child as their own, as her daughter Aqilla is not ready to become a mother yet. When Aqilla questions about her child, Aqilla's mother lies to her that the child was strangled by his umbilical cord. When Aqilla asks to see her son, her mother tells her that the baby is being buried and she will take Aqilla to his grave later, making Aqilla scream in pain and distress. Aqilla's mother tells her that this is karma, because Aqilla never listened to her mother, and this is her punishment. Meanwhile, Arif and Yumna return to his hometown where he is welcomed by Arif's mother and their servant. He introduces the child as their own and names him Bhaskara. Meanwhile, Aqilla is forcefully sent to Europe for further studies by her mother. As time passes by, Bhaskara becomes the center of attention in Arif and Yumna's life. They raise and love him as their own son. On the other hand, Aqilla continues to celebrate her son's birthday every year. Soon Bhaskara turns into a cute, 7-year-old boy, and the family gives him birthday presents. When Aqilla gets a call from her sick mother, she returns from Europe. On her deathbed, Aqilla's mother reveals to her that her son is alive and has grown into a healthy boy. She gives him Arif's picture and tells her that Arif adopted her son. But she hasn't been able to contact Arif for the last 3 years, as he has closed the bank account where she used to send money for her grandson. This shatters Aqilla's heart that her own mother lied to her and took her son from her. When Aqilla's mother asks for forgiveness, Aqilla, looking at her mother's condition, forgives her. Arif gets the news about the death of Aqilla's mother and shares it with Yumna. Soon Aqilla manages to catch Arif and confronts him. When she asks about her son's whereabouts, Arif tells her that they raised him, and Bhaskara doesn't even recognize Aqilla. Aqilla follows Arif and finds his house. Arif tells Yumna that Aqilla wants to meet Bhaskara, and Yumna gets mad at Arif that now Aqilla will take Bhaskara away. She also warns him that if the truth gets revealed, his mother will be shattered to know that Bhaskara isn't her real grandson. So they reveal the truth to Arif's mother before she gets to know it from Aqilla. Arif's mother tells them that Bhaskara is her grandson and they must protect him at all cost. One day, Aqilla shows up at their house. While Arif takes Bhaskara to school, Yumna welcomes Aqilla in. Yumna says to Aqilla, how dare she come to meet Bhaskara? Aqilla tells her that she is his mother and has right to meet him. Arif's mother tells Aqilla that Bhaskara has a family, but Aqilla explains how she is not responsible for the situation. Yumna says that Aqilla might be his biological mother, but she has raised Bhaskara with her love and care. This disheartens Aqilla, and she leaves. Later, she goes to meet Arif and begs him to let her meet and get to know Bhaskara. Arif asks her to give him some time. Later, Arif asks Yumna if they have stolen Aqilla's only happiness, and Yumna asks him to invite Aqilla over. Soon, Aqilla comes to meet Bhaskara and convinces him to go out with him to practice a song he's preparing for his performance on Mother's Day at school, and Yumna accompanies them. After spending a day with Bhaskara, Aqilla drops them home, and Arif's mother tells Aqilla that she doesn't understand what Aqilla has been through. She only knows that if she takes Bhaskara away, all of them will lose him. But if he stays here, it will only be one person at a loss, and that would be her, and then asks her to leave. At night, Aqilla sees her wedding picture and misses Arfan. Next day, Aqilla goes to Baskara's school where she meets Yumna. Yumna gets upset to see Aqilla and asks her why she is there. Aqilla asks her to stop treating her like a stranger who has come to kidnap Baskara. Later, Yumna invites Aqilla at home. Baskara shows her toys to Aqilla and tells her that he wants Lego. While leaving, Aqilla asks Baskara if she can come to meet him again. Baskara asks Aqilla to pick him from school and Yumna allows Aqilla. Next day, Aqilla goes to pick Baskara. He tells her that Yumna hasn't come because Aqilla is coming to pick him up. Aqilla takes Baskara to Safari Park and spends quality time with him. Later, she takes him to a restaurant and feeds him. Then she writes, "I love you" on his hand like Arfan used to write on her hand. When Baskara returns the gesture, it makes Aqilla emotional. When they return home, Yumna takes Baskara in and Arif gets mad at Aqilla for bringing him home so late. Next day, Aqilla returns and gets to know that Baskara has left with Arif and Yumna already. She sits with Arif's mother, who talks to Aqilla harshly. She asks Aqilla if she is here to take him away. Aqilla starts to cry and tells her that she is his biological mother, but she hasn't seen him since his birth. Arif and Yumna had spent 7 years with Baskara, but she was so unfortunate that she couldn't get to hear son's first words, see his first steps, or even take him to school on his first day. And no one understands her pain. This makes Arif's mother feel guilty for treating Aqilla so badly, and she tries to console her. At night, Arif's mother tells Yumna that she cannot forget the truth that Aqilla is after all Baskara's biological mother. Next day, Aqilla gets a call that Baskara is sick. She goes to meet him, and Baskara asks her why she didn't come to meet him yesterday. Aqilla tells him that she went to buy him a present and gives her the Lego toys he wanted. At lunch, Aqilla starts to make the plate for Baskara, and when Baskara asks for milk, Aqilla asks Yumna to bring it, which makes Yumna upset, and she shouts that she is not a maid. Baskara gets scared, and Arif takes him to Yumna, leaving Aqilla standing alone behind. Later, Arif tells Yumna to be ready, as they must let Baskara go, which makes Yumna cry. Meanwhile, Aqilla prepares to leave the town. Then, Yumna shows up at Aqilla's apartment and invites her to come see Baskara's school performance. During school performance, Baskara focuses completely on Aqilla, which saddens Yumna. But Aqilla points at Baskara to look at Yumna. Later, while discussing Baskara's dreams, Aqilla asks Yumna that she is young, so why doesn't she get pregnant again? Yumna tells her that she can't have children, and Aqilla consoles her. Meanwhile, Arif convinces Baskara to go live with Aqilla and promises him to bring him home when Baskara wants to come. When Aqilla comes to pick Baskara, everyone bids farewell to him. It gets difficult for Yumna to let go of Baskara, and Baskara runs back to her again and again. When Aqilla forcefully takes him away, he cries, and Yumna runs behind him. After a while, Baskara comes back home. It is revealed through Aqilla's letter that she has decided to let Baskara live with Yumna and Arif, as they have taken care of him as their own for years, and she wants to tell her son how a mother's love is infinite, and she can sacrifice her own happiness for her children. 12 years later, Baskara grows up into a young man and comes to meet Aqilla. He calls her Mama, and both start to cry. Do you think Aqilla made the right decision? Tell us in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more interesting content.